flying into the Amazon to learn about the psychedelic concoction, Ayahuasca. In recent years, the brew has entered into popular culture. What we want to do is to find out how Ayahuasca is used by the local indigenous people, the Shuar, famous for being the Amazon's last unconquered people. We're here in Zamora, Ecuador, by the Bombascar River. This is one of the highest points in the Amazon basin. This is where the Spanish and the Shuar first butted heads in the early 16th century. Tomorrow morning we're heading out to Shuar country, Nangaritza, by the Peruvian border. We're about to arrive in the Shuar village of Shaimi, which may well be the most psychedelic town on Earth. Here, ayahuasca and other consciousness-expanding plants are used in nearly every household for spiritual purposes. I've been staying in Shaimi for several months at a time as part of a research project on Shuar culture. And now we're going to make another visit, but this time with a camera. ¿Quién es? Abrazo. Ah, ¿qué tal? Unos pollitos. Un regalo. We just arrived in Shaimi. We're about to meet the syndico, the leader of the community. You might be expecting a big chief with feathered headdress, but actually he's a pretty regular guy. Chau, chau, ñaje.
Buenas tardes. Ya me manda.
Ah, y punker pujaje.
Pero viene a asistir a la asamblea que está realizándose este día.
Bueno. ¿Y de la federación o del centro? O sea, de la asociación, digamos.
De la federación también vino. Yo que la asociación le invitó a la federación porque hubo un poco inconvenientes con los centros Shuar afiliados, ¿no? Cristian, tengo un gusto.
Igual. Muy bueno.
Que permanezca feliz, ¿no?
Gracias.
Bueno, amiguito, nos vemos.
So we've just met the syndico. This is a term that describes the leader of the community. Each community will elect one leader, and then these associate through federal structures at different levels that allow them to manage their interactions with the outside world. Basically comes from socialist organizing principles and anarcho-syndicalist ideas through representative democracy with leaders who can be removed from their charge, and in that way you have a very direct form of democracy in which everything that's done by the leaders is known to the people. Tu amiguita. Ah, tu prima. ¿Cómo has estado?
Bien, está.
Qué bueno verle. We're going to have a whole night of parties and cultural events and some songs in Shuar, so it's going to be a really nice night, and an absolute stroke of luck to have arrived right at this moment. This is Chicha, a fermented drink made from yucca, a root vegetable that's common throughout the Amazon basin. It's both a staple food and an alcoholic drink, and when it's left to ferment for a long time, it becomes extremely alcoholic. Real men drink from gourds.
Beautiful?
Beautiful.
No tuition for my coalition. Self-taught by all these bad decisions. Treating good girls bad like a competition. And these nights is tradition. So this is not some shit to stay sober to. I mean really, what else was I supposed to do? Cause we spending all these days on the avenue, the crew going crazy, and there's always suggestions someone's open to.
They love the fucking rum, mate. They love the rum.
It's the morning after, and we're about to get down to the business of checking out the most psychedelic town on Earth, starting with a more recent influence on Shuar spirituality. I'm standing in front of a church built by Franciscan missionaries, or more accurately, built by Shuar people working for the missionaries. The Shuar resisted the presence of missionaries for several decades, And when the missionaries did finally ingratiate themselves into Shui society, it was by adjusting their teachings to make them as amenable as possible to Shui psychedelic spirituality. The Shui believe that beyond the ordinary world lies a field of spirit and power. This force, known as Arutam, is accessed directly through psychedelic visions. The missionaries managed to convince the Shui to convert to Catholicism by teaching them that these visions were the direct experience of God. We're going to be finding out all about that tonight with the town shaman, Juan Chuinda. But for now, we're going to go and speak to some regular folks from Shaimi to find out about their experiences.
Nosotros generalmente lo conocemos desde ya nuestros ancestros que vinieron hace años, ¿ya? Entonces eso va de generación en generación, de padre a hijo. La primera vez que tomé, no me recuerdo los años que tuve, pero o sea, yo sentía que no, digamos, no estaba siendo una persona un poco, digamos, mayor o siendo capaz de enfrentarme a cualquier tipo de inconveniente. ¿Ya? Entonces, a través de ese Natem también se llega a tener visiones en donde tú puedes llegar a ser alguien, en el futuro puede ser profesional, futbolista, cualquier tipo de carrera. Entonces uno se llega a saber qué va a hacer al futuro.
Hacer conocer como mujer shuar sobre México, que lo llamamos en español guanto. Esa planta tiene su espíritu viva. Ya. Y es bien sagrada esa planta que nadie puede ir a coger nomás por coger. Yo fui una niña vaga, quizás respondona con mi madre brava. Entonces mi padre nunca tenía costumbre de correr a pegarme, sino que mi padre tenía costumbre de siempre coger ese producto, como digo, maicua, y castigarme. Era un castigo que nuestro padre nos daba en esa manera. Tú eres una mala mujer. Esa mala energía que tienes, energía negativa que lo tienes, hija, usted tienes que botarlo. Ahora sí, María, le dice a mi madre, mi mami se llamaba María. Sí. María, usted de aquí no me lo des de comer. Ya. Yo me ponía a llorar y mi mami me llevaba a la huerta y decía, ven, mija, tu papá te dice esto para que seas, con el tiempo seas una mujer, que seas alguien para el hogar. Y así, con esa experiencia, usted vas a tener hijos y la misma vas a hacer. Tenía sed, me decía, toma agua, agüita de maduro, solo agüita. Quería comer, mi mami decía, no comerás. Si comes, el guanto te va contra. Usted puede morir, usted puede ver mal la visión, sí, y muy pronto puedes morir. Para que seas mujer fuerte, para que seas mujer que tengas este poder como este guanto, porque este guanto te va a corregir. Ya, tu papá no te pega, me dice, ya. Entonces yo, en aquel tiempo yo tuve unos 11, 12 años. Tomé Natema, en Natema era diferente. Sí. Y mucho más seguridad también. Y en Natema me hacía ver donde yo iba a tener mis hijos, hasta iba a tener a mi hija que la tengo, ya. Y yo iba a vivir así distanciado con mi esposo, él allá, yo acá. Esa visión estoy cumpliendo, por eso estoy solita. A veces mi esposo trabaja allá y viene así. Entonces esa visión me ha dado, entonces nosotros estamos cumpliendo. Por eso que yo no vivo estable con mi esposo. A mi hijo joven ya quiero también, estoy buscando la manera cuándo hay que darme tiempo para poder darle guanto. Cuando se le da esos productos, el niño se le ve diferente cuando haya sido vago. Ya no es vago, ahora sí cuando se le da. Ya es diferente, ya es un hijo ya activo, no es lento, un trabajador. Ya deja de responder, ya deja de ser caprichoso.
Mi nombre es Juan. Mucho gusto, Juan. Sí, Chuinda.
Bueno, aquí vivo 55 años. Sí. Y bueno, en mi vida he practicado muchas cosas. La medicina alternativa, lo que es las terapias, ¿no? Muchos. Y también practiqué medicina occidental en lo que es salud pública. Sí. Después también hice la odontología. Actualmente hago la medicina oculta, que lo llaman, ¿no? Ciencia oculta. La ayahuasca sirve para utilización de los médicos ancestrales, sí, como nosotros, así. Es para poder clarificar o clarificar cosas que no se puede ver a simple vista. Ajá. Ayuda a diagnosticar, visualizar, ajá, y detectar el mal que tiene la persona. El mal es la persona que le hace daño, que le hace producir dolor, ¿no? Y eso purifica. Lo purifica, lo sensibiliza y también digamos, lo activa las energías que estaba perdiéndose, ¿no?
The shaman's been called to Guaisimi, a regional center in the Nengarita River Valley. He's come here to drink ayahuasca and examine 4 patients, and we're going to join him by drinking as well. Señor, ya llegamos. Right now, Juan's examining the egg that's been passed over the bodies of the patients. It's considered to be a way of diagnosing bad energies and whatever else may have happened to the person.
No te sabe doler así, de repente. La cabeza, el cuello, eso sí. Pero de repente sí te duele. Sí, sí, me sabe doler de repente también.
El oprimido encontrará su refugio en el Señor. Él es su fortaleza cuando lo rodea la angustia. ¿Sí ha probado el tabaco? Unos toman con concha y unos algo así. Sandra.
Disculpa.
Ese gallo de allá quiero ver.
What was that, Christian? How'd it feel?
Some tobacco, and it certainly stung on the way down.
¿Nombre cómo se llama?
Austin.
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 Buy the ticket, take the ride. Wasn't as bad as you made me think it might be.
Is it?
I'm glad.
Más agua, porfa.
Ahí Vaya a las 6 de la mañana. ¿Ya tiene el agua?
Sí, ya le
¿No quieres?
Solo Chloe sabe de tu padre. Seco nomás. Con ganas de Cristi.
¿Verdad? ¿Cuál le va a dar para darle la música? ¿A usted?
Yo pienso a mi Juancito.
Que no vamos a tener para mañana. Tendré que mandar a hacer.
¿No se la toma todo? Para que no le haga mucho.
¿Está bien?
Tómesela todo.
Walk towards my voice. There we go. There's our money shot.
Cool. How you feeling? Fine. Pretty normal. Nice.
Like completely normal. Like absolutely no effect.
Wow. Everyone's having lunch now after a minga. A minga is a communal work arrangement common in Ecuador. It can be called by an individual or by the community as a whole. Today, folks have come together with machete to widen a path between two towns. While you might think the most psychedelic town on earth would be a dysfunctional place where everybody's either a visionary, a prophet, or a drummer, and no one does the dishes, recent science suggests otherwise. A Brazilian study of members of an Ayahuasca church showed positive results on numerous social indicators, and a Norwegian study of psychedelic drug users showed that they actually suffer from mental illness at a rate lower than that of the general population. None of this is news to the Shwa, who for centuries have maintained their cultural and political independence. In trying conditions, even today, they survive without most of the basic social services that people in the city take for granted, all with the help of the psychedelic plants that are native to their environment. Unfortunately, not everyone's environment can be a beautiful rainforest. Our journey to the Amazon is over, and we've returned to Quito. If you were thinking of drinking ayahuasca, this wouldn't be the best place to do it. As far as cities go, Quito is spectacular. It was the first city to gain United Nations World Heritage listing. However, ideally, ayahuasca would always be done in a natural environment. There's also a whole lot of random people roaming about here in the city. As a physically incapacitating drug, ayahuasca should always be done with people you know and trust, and never with some hustler you just met on the street. Obviously not everyone can live in an indigenous town and get to know a shaman, but there are risks associated with fly-in, fly-out psychedelic tourism. This is especially the case if you don't make arrangements before you arrive. There are plenty of jungle lodges listed online, and you can check out their photos and reviews. If you feel compelled to take whatever you can get, you're setting yourself up to be taken advantage of, and you could find yourself in serious danger. It's better to have no trip than a bad trip in a sketchy setting. That said, there are good reasons why indigenous Amazonian people use ayahuasca for self-development, and to close one chapter in their lives and open another. It's important to talk harm minimization, but in the case of ayahuasca, it's also a question of benefit maximization. Peace and enjoy your trip.